What is going on, guys? It is Wrestlelamia here, back with another video. Now, the Money in the Bank ladder match has become one of the WWE's biggest matches thanks to 83% of its winners successfully cashing in the briefcase to become a world champion. However, not everyone who won the event was the original choice to win the bout. So join us now as Wrestlelamia looks at wrestlers who were supposed to win the Money in the Bank, as well as booking changes for some of the winners. Be sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell for daily wrestling videos. Now, ever since its debut at WrestleMania 21, the Money in the Bank match has provided lots of excitement, not only as to who would win the priceless briefcase containing a contract for the World Championship match, but when the winner would cash it in and whether they'd score a World Championship. During an interview with Jonathan Coachman on ESPN's WWE Off the Top Rope, Chris Jericho revealed the match's origins, talking of how the WWE wanted to book several superstars into a ladder match at WrestleMania 21. Jericho talked to the then WWE writer Brian Gertwitz, saying, "It was for WrestleMania and there were a bunch of guys with nothing to do and some pretty big names, Kane, Edge, Christian, Chris Benoit, Shelton Benjamin, who was getting a push at the time. WWE didn't know what to do with us, so they were trying to come up with a bunch of ideas. They then said, well, maybe a multi-person ladder match. Brian said, well, there's nothing to go for. And I said, what if we went for a piece of paper, like a contract, where you would get a title match the next night? Vince McMahon would be the one to add the stipulation that the contract could be cashed in at any time within a year, as well as the aesthetic that the contract be stored in a briefcase. Thus was born one of the WWE's greatest matches. But what about original winners and plans being changed? Well, let's look at the first hiccup in 2007. Now, the Money in the Bank was in its third year when Mr. Kennedy won the briefcase at WrestleMania 23. Kennedy announced that he was cashing in his title shot in at WrestleMania 24, but an injury forced the WWE to change its carefully crafted plans. In a 2017 interview, Kennedy revealed what happened. Taker got injured and he had the world title at the time. They were trying to figure out a way to get it off him. You know, they called me in the office and said, hey, I know we're going to have you cash it in at WrestleMania next year, but we need to get the title off Taker, so we're going to have you come out next week at SmackDown and you're going to challenge him after he has the cage match with Mark Henry and blah blah blah, you're going to win the title. Kennedy was ready to do what was asked. Not that winning his first world championship was a big sacrifice to make, but a second injury forced the WWE to call an audible, this time an injury to Kennedy that he had sustained during a match against Batista. I ended up going to see a doctor, take an MRI in Erie, Pennsylvania. The next day Stephanie called me and said, Ken, you tore your triceps off the bone. You're going to have surgery and you're going to be out for 7 to 8 months. But unfortunately, we still have to get that title off Taker. So we're going to fly to Penn State, Edge is going to challenge you for the briefcase, and he's going to go on to do what you are going to do. Kennedy dropped the briefcase to Edge, who successfully cashed it in against The Undertaker. Ironically, Kennedy's injury was nowhere near as bad as originally thought, and he was able to return to the WWE much sooner, but by then, it was too late. Fool Me Once 2012. By 2012, the Money in the Bank match had graduated to its own pay-per-view with 2 matches with the Money in the Bank stipulation, one for Raw and one for SmackDown. Cody Rhodes battled Dolph Ziggler, Damien Sandow, Christian, Tyson Kidd, Sin Cara, Tensai, and Santino Marella, and according to Cody, he was supposed to win the match. However, that did not happen, and Dolph Ziggler won instead, eventually cashing it in against Alberto Del Rio to become World Heavyweight Champion. Fool Me Twice 2013. Once again, Cody Rhodes competed in the Money in the Bank ladder match, and once again, he was supposed to be penciled in to win it. In a 2019 chat with TalkSport's Alex McCarthy, Cody talked about what he was told. I'm so far removed, now I can give you a little bit of detail on this, and I hold no grudges, and I'm not sour over it, but the 2 years prior to that Money in the Bank in 2013, I was told I was winning the Money in the Bank. This is 2 years in a row. 2 years in a row I was told in advance I was winning the Money in the Bank, and both times it changed on the day. On the actual day. So if you guys ever wonder why I get a little spicy now and then, that's a life-changing decision that you are prepared for that then changes. You have to have very thick skin in wrestling, and sometimes mine's not that thick. Cody competed against Damien Sandow, Wade Barrett, Dean Ambrose, Jack Swagger, Fandango and Antonio Cesaro for a World Heavyweight Championship contract, but again came up short with Damien Sandow winning the contract. As fans have seen, there can be several versions to a wrestling story, and the 2013 Money in the Bank is one such case. According to former WWE writer Kevin Egg, the two potential winners for the World Heavyweight Championship contract were actually Damien Sandow and Wade Barrett. The story gets even more interesting as we see Vince McMahon getting buyer's remorse with his pick. After winning the Money in the Bank ladder match, Sandow began losing a lot more matches than he was winning. McMahon explained at the time that the losses wouldn't hurt Sandow because he still had the briefcase. However, one of McMahon's favourite sayings is perception becomes reality. The perception was that Sandow was a world champion material, and McMahon eventually saw him that way as well. Sandow would become the second winner to have an unsuccessful cash-in, and that credits it to McMahon's loss of faith in Sandow, saying, when discussing Sandow at a booking meeting a few months after the Money in the Bank pay-per-view, McMahon said, "I think we went with the wrong guy." If Cody Rhodes was supposed to win the Money in the Bank match, perhaps it's better he didn't in light of Vince McMahon's habit of booking on the fly. Imagine the embarrassment of winning the event 2 years in a row and losing 2 years as well. Card subject to change 2014. However, Cody or Wade Barrett weren't the only wrestlers to get second guessed. According to former WWE writer Kevin Egg, the WWE writing team was thinking over who to win the match, with Bray Wyatt at the top of most writers' lists. However, when McMahon asked for other names, Egg threw out one. "What about Sheamus?" I said. My reasoning was that no one expected Sheamus to win it, so it would make the sometimes predictable booking less so. Plus, we were in the process of doing a show burn heel turn for Sheamus, and being the briefcase holder could help facilitate that. McMahon, who had been trying to get Sheamus over as a major player for several years, said, "Sheamus it is." Sadly for Sheamus, the fickle finger of fate struck and the WWE Heavyweight Champion Daniel Bryan was injured, forcing WWE to make the Money in the Bank ladder match one to fill the vacant belt. According to Egg, CM Punk's departure that year left a gap for a top babyface, so Sheamus' heel turn was postponed and John Cena won the Money in the Bank match, setting things up so Brock Lesnar could squash him at SummerSlam. Seth Rollins won the other ladder match in 2014's event, earning his championship briefcase. Patience pays off 2015. And the following year saw Sheamus get the win he was penciled in for 2014, but he wasn't the only superstar considered for the win. According to several sources, the WWE had Roman Reigns in mind for that year's winner. Believe it or not, the WWE was also mulling over the idea of having Dolph Ziggler win the briefcase for a second time. In Ziggler's case, rumour has it his WWE contract was ending soon and they didn't want to give the briefcase to someone unless they were locked into a long-term contract. They chose Sheamus, who went on to successfully cash in against Roman Reigns at 2015 Survivor Series. Ember is eclipsed 2019. The introduction of the Women's Money in the Bank match at 2017 got off to a shaky start with Carmella's win that year, thanks to James Ellsworth winning the briefcase for her, but by 2019, the women's match was a prestigious event. That year, the WWE carefully considered Ember Moon, who had put on an outstanding performance at 2018's event. But ultimately, the WWE went with Bayley, who cashed in the briefcase that same night, defeating newly crowned SmackDown Women's Champion Charlotte Flair. A star-making win goes sideways in 2019. After 2 years of unsuccessful cash-ins, Baron Corbin in 2017 and Braun Strowman in 2018, there were rumours that the 2019 winner would make up for the past 2 years, not only winning the briefcase, but turning the win into a star-making event. According to WrestleVotes, strong push within the creative team to really have this year's Money in the Bank winner coming out of the whole process looking like a star. The feeling backstage is that they have completely blown the winners and cash-ins in the last 2 years. Fans began hearing rumours that the WWE was going to put over Mustafa Ali or Drew McIntyre over as that year's briefcase winner. According to several sources, Mustafa Ali was told he was going to win the briefcase, but that is until the day of the event when it was revealed that Ali wasn't going to win the event. Instead, Brock Lesnar showed up late in the match, knocking Ali off the ladder and grabbing the briefcase. WrestleVotes had to deal with a number of enraged fans who couldn't believe the WWE had put Brock Lesnar over yet again. You investigative maniacs are killing me from my tweet on 22nd April, nearly a month ago. plans change, it's freaking pro wrestling. The Brock decision was made last weekend. Up until that point, it was nearly a 50-50 toss-up between McIntyre and Ali to take the briefcase. But what do you guys think of these original winners? Should it have happened that way? Let us know in the comments down below, subscribe if you haven't already, follow us on Instagram and Twitter, and I'll see you next time with some more wrestling content.